Now it's time for today's perspective. And my guest on the programme today is an American woman who now lives here in Paris, comes from Paris originally, who released her first single at the age of just 18. And since then, I think I've calculated this right, has released 7 albums. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
This is the latest one. It's called It's Complicated. China Moses is the daughter of the jazz singer Dee Dee Bridgewater and the director Gilbert Moses. She also has a very interesting approach to how her music is published, staying off most platforms like Spotify, for example. We'll talk about why in just a moment. But first of all, before we talk, let's hear a little bit of her music to get you in the mood.
Happy I can't be blue. I could be the worst person that you ever knew. I'll sit there trying to explain it. Maybe you could be my man. Can you understand? Or maybe we just don't give a damn. We just don't give a damn. I need for you to understand that what I need is a friend. We can talk this out, baby. It ain't about neither, baby. It's about what you wanna do with your life. And if you're feeling this vibe, and if you don't want, baby, know it's alright. We can both go our separate ways, and that's okay.
I almost fell asleep. I feel so much better, so chill, so chill. I described it a minute ago, and you said it's a good word, sultry.
Yeah, sultry, I think, is a great word for all things soul jazz.
Yeah.
Even though, depending on what's really happening in the background, there's always multiple levels of listening.
Yeah.
You know, you listen to something first, and then you listen to it 5 times after, and then you hear other things. And I try to make a music that's pretty layered.
It depends on the track as well, doesn't it? I mean, some of your other tracks are a little bit more...
Yeah, I have some songs that are almost rock and roll, one would call it. What I do is Black American music. I really have a problem with the not being put in a box, but I really have a problem with the fact that we have chopped up Black American music so much that people don't see it as a whole. So I make no difference in between the jazz, the blues, the funk, R&B, the soul, the hip hop, the house music, or the rock. You know, it's all part of one whole, and it's just a beautiful spectrum.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do, make music through that beautiful spectrum.
Dinah Washington's a big heroine.
I mean, of course, she had 7 husbands. Why not? No, but beyond that.
Beyond that, there's music as well, isn't there?
There's music.
Yeah.
There's the fact that she won Best Pop Song in 1959, so before the end of segregation. She had her own management company. She had a club at one time, and she passed away at the young age of 39. She was a trailblazer in many ways, and also did not stick to one genre of music.
And is that where your inspiration is? I mean, you said right at the top that you love doing all these different things, and she did the same thing. Yeah,
I mean, I fell in love with people like Dinah Washington, Natalie Cole, Roberta Flack, Patrice Rushen, Prince, you know, who is probably one of the best examples of somebody who just played around, and music is music. My voice is an instrument, and I often say that it is no different than a trumpet or a saxophone player. So if, you know, a trumpet player can do an electro album, a straight ahead jazz album, and something that's hip hop, R&B adjacent, then so should I be able to do that. I should be granted the same grace.
How do you come up with something different? Because the number of different artists that you've mentioned there, and the number of different styles, you know, being able to be original, is that tough?
Of course. I think just being able to be a human different than your parents is a hard job. It's the ultimate search. Who am I? It's tough, and then at the same time, you just have to accept that all these great people walk this path before you, and all you can do is try to do your best with what you have.
How do you come up with something new then for It's Complicated, the new album?
I think it's partly because all of the melodies and the songs originated from me. I worked with a great singer-songwriter and great musician named Ollie Rockberger to finalize the songs, and then the musicians, the way they interpreted these songs that they only had piano voice tracks when we were in the studio. We recorded in 3 days with the brilliant producer Troy Miller, who's worked with Jamie Cullum, Gregory Porter, Lauren Vula, Diana Ross, and it was the way that their personalities of these incredible musicians shined through, and their way of interpreting. Music is like wine, you know? We all have the same grapes, we all have the same notes. It all depends on who is making the wine. You know, it's like a chef, same thing. So how I find my own voice, first of all, my voice is my voice.
Yeah.
And then also not putting any barriers in between all these different genres.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that it's as diverse as possible and not paying attention to what's cool or what's working.
Talking about that, I mean, the Spotify thing, you're not a fan of Spotify. Why is that? Tell us about it.
It's not that I'm not a fan of streaming platforms. They are a necessary evil. They're also just inevitable. I chose not to put my work on streaming platforms because it has now become, are you familiar with that term payola?
No.
Oh, so payola was the term used back in the days where you paid DJs to play your song.
Okay, right.
So basically, that's what it's become.
Okay.
And as an independent artist, I have a very small budget.
Yeah.
I am not paying 1,000 euros to make sure that my song pops up in a discovery track for a couple of streams that won't even bring me back. It's a bad investment for me, first of all. Secondly, it's also flattening music. There's a really great book, The Mood Machine by Liz Pelly, that I advise every single person who's interested about that to read, to understand the workings and the flattening of sound and of music and of genres, how everybody's starting to sound the same. And on top of that, I totally prefer performing in front of people and being able to create a space where people can live out emotions that they can't live in their everyday life. Like, you go to a show to feel something, to forget about your day and forget about the world and to feel something. That's the role of artists. We are here to kind of we're kind of like an air conditioning, cooling system, a natural cooling system. So if you're mad, you know, the artist probably maybe has a song that will help you through that anger. If you're sad, same thing. That's my job. I'm an emotional translator. So I find that job is much more important than fighting with people who are putting out an album every month.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. It's not how I value art.
And you seem very passionate about your music, the way you go about it. I mean, what has it brought you? Because you've toured right around the world, haven't you? I've
toured everywhere, and music has brought me a freedom and also a view of the world. It's also, artists to me are like informal diplomats. Wherever I travel in the world, people are like, oh, I represent France for them. I represent the United States. When I was given the Médaille of the Order of Merit, the French National Order of Merit, with my mother in New Orleans, we were standing there in this city that represents the birthplace of jazz, and at the same time is a beacon to the world. Jazz is the Black American gift to the world, and all the other musics come from that. And you just never can forget about the blues, because the blues is everyday life and it's the truth.
Perfectly put. China Moses, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Talking to us on the programme today. The album then, It's Complicated is the latest album. Good to have you with us on the programme today. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you, Stuart.